Good afternoon. Time to get into our word study. Today we're going to just do a little bit of background history in order to try and understand what happens in Daniel chapter 6. At the conclusion of Daniel chapter 5, we read there that very night, verse 30, Belshazzar, king of the Babylonians, was slain, and Darius the Mede took over the kingdom at the age of 62. We have a historical fact given to us here by Daniel. And remember, this was the prediction that Daniel actually made when he saw the inscription on the wall, where it said that many tekel Upharsin, and Upharsin being interpreted as your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Now, Darius was a king of the Persian Empire. But yet it's interesting that when you go to Ezra, which we will look at later on, it's going to be important for us to understand, we will see that Cyrus, who was also a king of Persia, in actual fact, he was a commanding general, a nephew to Darius the king. And he actually is the one that led the Persian Empire, the Medes and Persian Empire, up against the Babylonians. And it was through his hand that victory came. And I want to read this verse to you because it's very important that we understand this. That God is always in control. It is God who places kings on thrones, and it is God who takes them off the thrones and places other kings. And as we read in Daniel chapter 2, when God said to Nebuchadnezzar in his dream that you're the head of gold, but another kingdom, one of silver, is going to take your place. Remember how that Nebuchadnezzar rebelled against it. Here we see in the handwriting on the wall that the same message is given to Belshazzar, and that is that the Medes and Persians were going to take over that very evening. And I want you to see here in Isaiah 45, it's one of the most incredible verses also again, how that God uses heathen kings, unbelievers such as Nebuchadnezzar. Remember we saw in Jeremiah chapter 25 and 27, how that God said that Nebuchadnezzar was his servant. Here in Isaiah 45 verse 1, we read this. This is what the Lord says to his anointed. That means to the one that he has chosen. To Cyrus, whose right hand I take hold of, to subdue nations before him, and to strip kings of their armor, and to open doors before him, so that gates will not be shut. I will go before you and will level the mountains. Here we see very clearly that God used Cyrus, a heathen king, a Persian king, a nephew to Darius, to actually cause the downfall of the Babylonian Empire. Here we see quite clearly again that God is sovereign, that he is the King of Kings, and that he appoints and that he takes down the kings that he places on planet Earth. That he is in charge of his universe, and he establishes people in control or takes them out of control according to his will. And nobody can say to him, what are you doing? Or, hold back his hand. Here we see so clearly that this fulfillment of prophecy takes place according to the word of the Lord. And I want to introduce you today, as we close off this section, by going to Daniel chapter 6, and we're going to read there verse 1. It pleased Darius to appoint 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom, with 3 administrators over them, one of whom was Daniel. Quite amazing. Daniel not only told Nebuchadnezzar and Belshazzar about the demise of Babylon, but he actually lived to experience the next kingdom taking over, and actually served under the Darius, the king of the Medes and Persians. He served under them as well. And we're going to see some more of the story. This is very important to pick up here, that the Babylonian Empire has come to its end and the next kingdom, world dominating kingdom, has taken over. I hope you're enjoying these studies, and I'm hoping that you're learning wonderful lessons. May God bless you today as you serve Him and remember that He's in control of the universe.